ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಭಗವತೋ ಅರ್ಹತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ. ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಭಗವತೋ ಅರ್ಹತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ. ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಭಗವತೋ ಅರ್ಹತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ. ಏತಿಪಿಸೋ ಭಗವಾರಹಂ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧೋ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚರಣ ಸಂಪನ್ನೋ ಸುಗತೋ ಲೋಕವಿದು ಅನುತ್ತರೋ ಪುರಿಸ ಧಮ್ಮ ಸಾರಥಿ ಸತ್ತಾ ದೇವ ಮನುಷ್ಯಾನಾಂ ಬುದ್ಧೋ ಭಗವಾತಿ. ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ. ಯೇ ಚ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅತೀತಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಚ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅನಾಗತಾ ಪಚ್ಚುಪನ್ನಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅಹಂ ವಂದಾಮಿ ಸಬ್ಬದ. ನತ್ತಿ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ಅನ್ಯಂ ಬುದ್ಧೋ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ವರಂ ಏತೇನ ಸಚ್ಚವಜ್ಜೇನ ಹೋತು ಮೇ ಜಯ ಮಂಗಲಂ. ಉತ್ತಮಂಗೇನ ವಂದೇಹಂ ಪಾದಪಂಸೋ ವರುತ್ತಮಂ. ಬುದ್ಧೇಯೋ ಕಲಿತೋ ದೋಷೋ ಬುದ್ಧೋ ಕಮತು ತನ್ಮಮ. ಬುದ್ಧಂ ಯಾವ ನಿಬ್ಬಾನ ಪರ್ಯಂತಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಚಾಮಿ. ಸ್ವಾಖ್ಯಾತೋ ಭಗವತಾ ಧಮ್ಮೋ ಸಂದಿಟೀಕೋ ಅಕಾಲಿಕೋ ಎಹಿಪಸ್ಸಿಕೋ ಅಪನಾಯಕೋ ಪಚ್ಚತ್ತಂ ವೇದಿತಭ್ಯೋ ವಿನ್ನೋಹೀತಿ. ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ನಿಯಾನಿಕ ಸ ಧಮ್ಮಸ್ಸ. ಯೇ ಚ ಧಮ್ಮ ಅತೀತಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಚ ಧಮ್ಮ ಅನಾಗತಾ ಪಚ್ಚುಪನ್ನಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಧಮ್ಮ ಅಹಂ ವಂದಾಮಿ ಸಬ್ಬದ. ನತ್ತಿ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ಅನ್ಯಂ ಧಮ್ಮೋ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ವರಂ ಏತೇನ ಸಚ್ಚವಜ್ಜೇನ ಹೋತು ಮೇ ಜಯ ಮಂಗಲಂ. ಉತ್ತಮಂಗೇನ ವಂದೇಹಂ ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಚತಿ ವಿದುತ್ತಮಂ. ಧಮ್ಮೇಯೋ ಕಲಿತೋ ದೋಷೋ ಧಮ್ಮೋ ಕಮತು ತನ್ಮಮ. ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಯಾವ ನಿಬ್ಬಾಣ ಪರ್ಯಂತಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಚಾಮಿ. ಸುಪಟಿಪನ್ನೋ ಭಗವತೋ ಸಾವಕ ಸಂಗೋ ಉಜುಪಟಿಪನ್ನೋ ಭಗವತೋ ಸಾವಕ ಸಂಗೋ. ನ್ಯಾಯಪಟಿಪನ್ನೋ ಭಗವತೋ ಸಾವಕ ಸಂಗೋ. ಸಾಮೀಚಿ ಪಟಿಪನ್ನೋ ಭಗವತೋ ಸಾವಕ ಸಂಗೋ. ಯದಿದಂ ಚತ್ತಾರಿ ಪುರಿಸ ಯುಗಾನಿ ಅಟ್ಟಪುರಿಸ ಪುಗ್ಗಲ ಏಸಾ ಭಗವತೋ ಸಾವಕ ಸಂಗೋ. ಆಹುನಯ್ಯೋ ಪಾಹುನಯ್ಯೋ ದಕ್ಕಿನಯ್ಯೋ ಅಂಜಲಿ ಕರಣೀಯೋ. ಅನುತ್ತರಂ ಪುಣ್ಯಕೇತಂ ಲೋಕಸ್ಸಾತಿ. ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಅಟ್ಟ ಅರ್ಯ ಪುಗ್ಗಲ ಮಹಾಸಂಗಸ್ಸ. ಯೇ ಚ ಸಂಗ ಅತೀತಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಚ ಸಂಗ ಅನಾಗತಾ ಪಚ್ಚುಪನ್ನಾ ಚ ಯೇ ಸಂಗ ಅಹಂ ವಂದಾಮಿ ಸಬ್ಬದ. ನತ್ತಿ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ಅನ್ಯಂ ಸಂಗೋ ಮೇ ಶರಣಂ ವರಂ ಏತೇನ ಸಚ್ಚವಜ್ಜೇನ ಹೋತು ಮೇ ಜಯ ಮಂಗಲಂ. ಉತ್ತಮಂಗೇನ ವಂದೇಹಂ ಸಂಗಂ ಚತಿ ವಿದುತ್ತಮಂ. ಸಂಗೇಯೋ ಕಲಿತೋ ದೋಷೋ ಸಂಗೋ ಕಮತು ತನ್ಮಮ. ಸಂಗಂ ಯಾವ ನಿಬ್ಬಾಣ ಪರ್ಯಂತಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಚಾಮಿ. ಏವಂ ಬುದ್ಧಂ ಸರಂತಾನಂ ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಸಂಗಂ ಚ ಭಿಕ್ಕವೋ. ಭಯಂ ವಾಚಂ ವಿತತ್ತಂ ವಾ ಲೋಮಹಂಸೋ ನ ಹೆಸ್ಸತಿ. ಘನಸಾರಪ್ಪದಿಟ್ಟೇನ ದೀಪೇನ ತಮದಂಸಿನ. ತಿಲೋಕದೀಪಂ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಂ ಪೂಜಯಾಮಿ ತಮೋನುದಂ. ಗಂಧಸಂಭಾರಯುಕ್ತೇನ ಧೂಪೇನ ಹಂ ಸುಗಂಧಿನ. ಪೂಜಯೇ ಪೂಜನೀಯಂತಾಂ ಪೂಜಾಭಾಜನಮುತ್ತಮಂ. ವರ್ಣಗಂಧಾ ಗುಣೋಪೇತಂ ಏತಂ ಕುಸುಮ ಸಂತತಿಂ. ಪೂಜಯಾಮಿ ಮುನೀಂದಸ್ಸ ಸಿರಿಪಾದ ಸರೋರುಹೆ. ಪೂಜೇಮಿ ಬುದ್ಧಂ ಕುಸುಮೇನ ನೇನ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಮೇತ್ತೇನ ಚ ಹೋತ್ತು ಮೋಕ್ಕಂ. ಪುಪ್ಪಂ ಮಿಲಾಯಾತಿ ಯಥಾ ಇದಂ ಮೇ ಕಾಯೋ ತಥಾ ಯಾತಿ ವಿನಾಶಭಾವಂ. ನಿರೋಧ ಸಮಾಪತಿತ್ವೋ ಉತಿತ್ವಾ ನಿಸಿನ್ನಸ್ಸಾವಿಯ. ಭಗವತೋ ಅರ್ಹತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ. ಇಮಿನಾ ದೀಪೇನ ಧೂಪೇನ ಪುಪ್ಪೇನ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ. ಇಮಂ ದೀಪಧೂಪ ಪುಪ್ಪ ಪೂಜಾದಿ ನಾಮ ಸಕಲ ಸಂಬುಧಾನಾಂ. ಪಚೇಕ ಬುದ್ಧಾನಾಂ ಅಗ್ಗಸಾವಕಾನಾಂ ಮಹಾಸಾವಕಾನಾಂ. ಅರ್ಹಂತಾನಾಂ ಪಕಟಿಶೀಲಂ ಅಹಂ ಪಿತೆ ಸಂ ಅನುವರ್ತಕೋ ಹೋಮಿ. ಇಮಾನಿ ಪುಪ್ಪಾನಿ ವಂದೇನಪಿ ಸುವನ್ನಂ ಗಂಧೇನಪಿ ಸುಗಂಧಂ ಸಂತಾನೇನಾಪಿ ಸುಸಂತಾನಂ. ಕಿಪ್ಪಮೇವಾ ದುಗ್ಗಂಧಂ ದುರ್ಗಂಧಂ ದುಸ್ಸಂತಾನಂ ಪಾಪು ನಿಸ್ಸತಿ. ಏವಮೇವಾ ಸಬ್ಬೆ ಸಂಕಾರ ಅನಿಚ್ಛ ಸಬ್ಬೆ ಸಂಕಾರ ದುಃಖ ಸಬ್ಬೆ ಧಮ್ಮ ಅನತ್ತಾತಿ. ಇಮಾಯ ಧಮ್ಮಾನುಧಮ್ಮ ಪಟಿಪತ್ತಿಯ ಬುದ್ಧಂ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ. ಇಮಾಯ ಧಮ್ಮಾನುಧಮ್ಮ ಪಟಿಪತ್ತಿಯ ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ. ಇಮಾಯ ಧಮ್ಮಾನುಧಮ್ಮ ಪಟಿಪತ್ತಿಯ ಸಂಘಂ ಪೂಜೇಮಿ. ವಂದಾಮಿ ಚೇತಿ ಯಂ ಸಬ್ಬಂ ಸಬ್ಬತಾನೇಸು ಪತಿಷ್ಠಿತ. शारीरिकधातु महाबोधि बुद्धरूपं सकलं सदा। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। विपत्ति पटिवाहाय सब्ब संपत्ति सिद्धिया सब्ब दुःखं विनाशाय सब्ब भयं विनाशाय सब्ब रोगं विनाशाय भवेदीर्घायुकदायक सब्ब लोकं हितत्ताय परित्तं बनामहे। समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्र गच्छन्तु देवता सद्धम्मं मुनिराजस्सा शृण्वन्तु सग्गमोक्कदम्। धम्मस्सवनकालो अयं बदन्ता धम्मस्सवनकालो अयं बदन्ता परित्तस्सवनकालो अयं बदन्ता। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। करणीयमत्तकुशलेनायं तं सन्तं पदं अभिसमेच्छ सक्को उजूचा सुजूचा सुवचो च समुदु अनतिमानि संतुस्सकोचा सुबरोचा अपकिच्चो च सल्लहुकवुत्ति संतीन्द्रियोचा निपकोचा अपगब्बो कुलेषु अननुगिद्धो न च कुद्धं समाचरे किंचि येन विज्ञो परे उपवदेयो। सुखिनो वाक्येमिनो हन्तु सब्बे सत्ता भवन्तु सुखितट्टा ये केचिपाणभूतत्ति तसावा तावराव अनवशेष दीघा वा ये महन्ता वा मज्जिमारस्सकानुकतुला दिट्टा वा ये व अदिट्टा ये च दूरे वसन्ति अभिदूरे भूता वा सम्भवेसि वा सब्बे सत्ता भवन्तु सुखितट्टा न परो परं निकुब्बेतान्यातिमन्येत कट्टचिनं कञ्चि व्यारोसना पटिगसंज्ञानमन्यस्य दुःखमिचय्य माता यथानियं पुत्रं आयुषा एकपुत्रमनुरक्ष्य एवंपि सर्वभूतेषु मानसं भावये अपरिमाणं मत्तं च सर्वलोकस्मिन् मानसं भावये अपरिमाणम् उद्धं अधो च तिर्यं च असंबाधं अवेरं असपट्टं तिट्टं चरं निसिन्नो वा शयानो वा यावतस्य विगतमिद्धो एतं सतिं अदिट्टेया ब्रह्ममेतं विहरङ्गिदमाहु दिट्टिं च अनुपगम्यशीलवादर्शनेन सम्पन्नो कामेषु विनयागेदन्न हि जातु गब्बसेयं पुनरेतीति दुःखापता च निर्दुःखा भयापता च निर्भया शोकापता च निःशोका होन्तु सब्बे पिपाणिनो एतेन सच्चवज्जेन सोतिनो होतु सर्वदा एतेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु नो जयमङ्गलम् एतेन सच्चवज्जेन पातु नो रत्नत्रयम्। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। एवं मे सुतं एकं समयं भगवा सावत्यं विहरति जेतवने अनाथपिण्डिकस्य आरामे अतको अन्यतरा देवता अभिकन्ताय रत्या अभिकन्तवन्ना केवलकप्पं जेतवनं वोभासेत्वा येन भगवा तेनुपसङ्कमित्वा भगवन्तं अभिवादेत्वा एकमन्तं अट्टासी एकमन्तं किटाकोसा देवता भगवन्तं गाताय अब्जभासी बहुदेवा मनुष्या च मंगलानि अचिन्तयो अकङ्कमानस्वत्तानां ब्रूहि मङ्गलमुत्तमम् असेवनाश बालानां पंडितानां च सेवना पूजा च पूजनीयानां एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् पठिरूपदेशवासो च पुब्बे च कटपुण्यता तसम्मापणीति च एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् बहु सच्चं च सिप्पं च विनयो च सुशिक्षितो सुभाषिता च या वाचा एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् माता पितु पट्टानं पुत्रदारस्य संगहो अनाकुला च कम्मन्ता एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् दानं च धम्मचर्या च नाटकानं च संगहो अनवज्यानि कम्मानि एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् आरति वीरति पापा मज्जपाना च संयमो अपमादो च धम्मेषु एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् गारवो च निवातो च सन्तुटी च कटन्युता कालेन धम्मसवनं एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् कंती च सोवच सता समनानं च दर्शनं कालेन धम्मसाकच्छा एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् तपो च ब्रह्मचर्या च आर्यसच्चानदर्शनं निब्बाणसच्चिकिरिया च एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् उत्तस्य लोकधम्मेहि चित्तं यस्सा न कम्पति अशोकं विरजं खेमं एतं मङ्गलमुत्तमम् एतादृशानि कत्वाना सब्बतङ्गपराजिता सब्बत्तसत्तिं गच्छन्ति तं ते सन्मङ्गलमुत्तमन्ति एतेन सच्चवज्जेन सोतिनो होतु सर्वदा एतेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु नो जयमङ्गलम् एतेन सच्चवज्जेन पातु नो रतनत्रयम् नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स यानि दभूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिक्के सब्बेव भूता सुमना भवन्तु अतोऽपि सक्कच्च सुनन्तु भासितं तस्मा हि भूतानि समेत सब्बे मेत्तं करोत मानुषीयापजाय दिवाचरत्तो च हरन्ति ये बलिं तस्मा हि नेरकतपमत्त यंकिंचिवित्तं गिदवाहुरं वा सज्ञेषु वायं रतनं पणीतं ननो समं अत्ति तथागतेन इदंपि बुद्धे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु खयं विरागं अमतं पणीतं यदज्जगा शक्यमुनि समाहितो न तेन धम्मेन समत्ति किंचि इदंपि धम्मे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु यं बुद्धसेट्टो परिवण्णयि शुचिं समाधिमानन्तरिकन्यमाहो समाधिना तेन समो न विज्जति इदंपि धम्मे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु ये पुग्गला अट्टशतं पसत्ता चत्तारि एतानि युगानि होन्ति ते दक्षिणय्या सुगतस्य सावका एतेषु दिन्नानि महत्फलानि इदंपि संगे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु ये सुपयुक्ता मनसादलेन निक्कामिनो गोतमशासनं हि ते पत्तिपत्ता अमतं विगाय लद्दामुदा निपुतिं गुञ्जमान इदंपि संगे रत्नं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु यतीन्द्रकीलो पटविंसितो सिया चतुर्विवाते हि असंपकम्पियो ततूपमं धम्मवरं अदेशयि यो अर्य सच्चानि अवेच्च पश्यति इदंपि संगे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु ये अर्य सच्चानि विभावयन्ति गंभीरपन्नेन सुदेशितानि किंचापि ते हन्ति भूषप्पमत्ता न ते भवं अट्टमङ्गादीयन्ति इदंपि संगे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु सहावसदस्सन संपदाय तयस्सु धम्मा जहिता भवन्ति सक्काय दिट्टि विचिकित्सितं च शीलव्वतं वापि यदत्ति किंचि चतुःपाये हि च विप्पमुक्तो चचाभितानानि अभवकातुम् इदंपि संगे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु किंचापि शोकं करोति पापकं कायेन वाचा उदचेतसा वा अबब्बसोतस्य पटिच्छदाय अबब्बतादिट्टपदस्य उत्ता इदंपि संगे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु वनप्पगुम्बे यतपुस्सितज्ञे गिम्हानमासे पटमस्मिन् गिम्हे ततूपमं धम्मवरं अदेशयि निब्बाणगामिं परमं हिताय इदंपि धम्मे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु वरो वरण्यो वरदो वराहरो अनुत्तरो धम्मवरं अदेशयि इदंपि बुद्धे रतनं पणीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु यानि दभूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिक्के तथागतं देवमनुष्यपूजितं बुद्धं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु यानि दभूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिक्के तथागतं देवमनुष्यपूजितं धम्मं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु यानि दभूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिक्के तथागतं देवमनुष्यपूजितं संघं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु एतेन सच्चवज्जेन सोतिनो होतु सब्बदा एतेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु नो जयमङ्गलम् एतेन सच्चवज्जेन पातु नो रत्नत्रयम् सब्बितियो विवज्जन्तु सब्बरोगो विनश्यतु माते भवत्वन्तरायो सुखी दीर्घायुको भव भवतु सब्बमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सब्बदेवता सब्बबुद्धानुभावेन सब्बधम्मानुभावेन सब्बसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोत्ति भवन्तु ते नक्कतयक्कभूतानां पापग्रह निवारण परित्तस्सानुभावेन हन्तु नो उपद्रवे देवो वसातु कालेन सस्य सम्पत्ति हेतु च पीतो भवतु लोको च राजा भवतु धम्मिको यं दुर्निमित्तं अवमङ्गलं च यो चामनापो सगुणस्य सद्दो पापग्रहो दुःसुपिनं अकन्तं बुद्धानुभावेन विनाशमिन्तु धम्मानुभावेन विनाशमिन्तु Sanganubhavena vinasaminto Sabbe Buddha Balapata Pachekanancha Yang Balang Arahantanancha Tejena Rakang Bandami Sabbaso Sabbe Dhamma Balapata Arya Satchanancha Yang Balang Dhamma Chakkasa Tejena Rakang Bandami Sabbaso Sabbe Sangha Balapata Vimuttanancha Yang Balang Sasanasa Tejena Rakang Bandami Sabbaso Imina Punya Kamena Mame Bala Samagamo Satan Samagamo Hotu Yava Nibbana Patya Idang Me Punya Kamam Asavakayan Vahang Hotu Sabba Dukkha Pamucchatu Nibbana Sampachayo Hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We'll see the Dhamma talk. So this is about the importance of the meritorious actions, Punya Kriyas, how the people become happy, they rejoice here and now, they rejoice hereafter when they perform these meritorious actions. So many incidents that happened during the time of Buddha. After learning from the Buddha about the importance of performing meritorious actions, there was one treasurer. His name was Anathapindika. He was a very wealthy merchant and he was the treasurer also. And he was the supporter of Buddha and his associates, his disciples. And he built many monasteries for Buddha and he used to take care of Buddha and his disciples. Just like that, there was one lady supporter, her name was Vishaka. She was also a very wealthy lay woman supporter. She also used to build she built so many monasteries and she used to take care of Buddha and his disciples. And this Anathapindika, he had 3 daughters. And of course, all his family members, they became devout followers of Buddha. And he used to offer this Sangadana, the different requirements for Buddha and his disciples. Every day for 2,000 people, he used to offer this Sangadana, which includes Bhojandana, Chivaradana, Attaparikaradana, 8 requisites for the disciples and for Buddha, he used to offer. And just to teach his children also this art of offering, art of giving, art of merit making, he used to encourage his eldest daughter, her name was Mahasubhadra, to offer all these requisites to Buddha and his disciples. And she used to offer all these requisites, food, robes, that is Chivaradana and all other requisites, the daily requisites, requirements of Buddha and his disciples. For several days, for some 2,000 people she used to offer every day. And she became Sotapanna. Sotapanna means she could enter into the first stage of Nibbana. She could experience Nibbana. She could completely change from her lay life into a spiritual life. The liberated mind. She could experience, she became Swatapanna. She could achieve that first stage of enlightenment, first stage of Nibbana. And then she got married and she went to her husband's house. And then this Anathapindika, he asked his second daughter again to offer to Buddha and his disciples. And she also started offering all the requisites for Buddha and his disciples for a few days. And she also became Sotapanna, means she could also get the first stage of enlightenment, the first stage of Nibbana. and after some time she also got married, and she went to her husband's house. Then the third daughter, her name was Sumana Devi. She was more devoted to Buddha and his teachings, and in this merit making, she started making merits through these generous acts, personally with all faith, serving Buddha and his disciples, offering Buddha and his disciples with all that apachayana, with all that respect, with all that vayavacha, that service mind, with all that dana mind, the giving mind, all that shila mind, the metta mind, the compassionate mind, all that bhavana, matured, fully mindful offering. So in that way she developed her mind, and she could reach the second stage of enlightenment, which is more superior than the first stage. It's called Sagadagami stage. Sagadagami stage, once returner. So she could come back to the human world again only once. The first stage, they could come back for 7 times, but Sagadagami, she could reach a superior realm, she could reach a superior divine realm after her death also. And that is what is called Sagadagami stage, that is more superior, more refined, more peaceful, more rejoiceful stage of liberation that she could achieve just by this act of generosity, act of dana, with faith, a lot of faith she used to offer, and she could achieve that Sagadagami stage. And her sisters, they could achieve the Sotapanna stage, and they could also experience Nibbana, and they could experience the true happiness here and now, even though they get married, and even after the death also they could reach the divine realms. But this third daughter, this Sumana Devi, she could reach superior realm, superior happiness here and now, and also hereafter, after her death also. To that stage she reached, just by this act of generosity, dana, meritorious action of dana, she could reach that. Her father became very happy with her devotion, with her right faith, right confidence, and the way she was growing in this right view and Dhamma, in this spirituality. And once he heard that, she used to tell about her father as her younger brother. Where is my younger brother? What he is doing? In that way she used to address her father. That some people heard, and they came to this Anathapindika, her father, and reported the matter. What's happening? Why she is behaving like that? That incoherence, that inappropriateness, whether she has lost her senses in that way. They thought, and they reported this to her father Anathapindika. Then he felt little bad, and he came to her and he asked her, "How are you, my dear daughter Sumana?" And she said, "I am fine, my younger brother. Why are you talking like that, with that incoherence, with that inappropriateness? What happened to you? Are your senses are fine? Do you have sound senses, or you have lost your senses?" She said, "I am fine. My senses are perfect, my dear younger brother." In that way she addressed her father. And she addressed him that she is going to leave now. "Are you scared, my dear daughter?" In that way he asked her. "No, I am not scared, my dear younger brother." In that way she told him, and she died immediately after that. And he felt very bad, and he started weeping because he lost his daughter in front of him, and also she lost her senses. In that way he thought she was behaving in a very inappropriate and very inconsistent, very incoherent way. she might have lost her senses. In that way, he thought, weeping and crying, and he came to Buddha. Though he was also a Sotapanna, he could also reach that stage of uh, Sotapanna, the first stage of Arhanthood, the first stage of liberation, enlightenment. He came to Buddha and he told him that he lost his daughter, third daughter, Sumana. Being a Sotapanna, stream enterer, it's called stream enterer in English. That means that he entered into the stream of Nibbana, stream of enlightenment. So for such people, there is no grief. They will not grieve for the death of their relatives. So they will be quite peaceful. Being a Sotapanna, a stream enterer who has seen Nibbana and who has seen the ultimate bliss, why are you grieving? Why are you why you have fallen into this sorrow and grief? You are suffering. That way Buddha inquired. And he answers that I'm not suffering, I'm not weeping because my daughter died. I'm weeping because she lost her senses at the time of death. She was talking like this. She was addressing me as younger brother. So that's what is actually hurting me. That's what is creating a lot of grief in me, a lot of sorrow in me. In that way, he answered this Anathapindika, the treasurer, the chief supporter of Buddha. Then Buddha gave him the clarity. She addressed him as younger brother because in this spiritual growth, she is more elder to you. She has reached the second stage of enlightenment, second stage of liberation. But you are in the first stage only. In that way, you are younger to her in the spiritual maturity. So keeping that in the mind, she addressed you and in a way she motivated you to develop the mind, to perform the meritorious actions with more faith and involved directly in service and generosity and morality, all these meritorious actions, and to reach the higher stages. That's what is her intention. Now she has taken rebirth in a very divine realm, Tusita realm, where the Buddha was in that realm before he came to this world, human world. In his previous life, he was in this Tusita world. It's a very superior divine realm. She is enjoying all the happiness, all the bliss of the divine life in that Tusita realm. At the time of death also, as she told you, she was not having any fear, very confidently, very joyfully, with lot of happiness and delightness. She died and she took rebirth in a very divine realm where the happiness is much more superior, much more subtle. So in that way, there is no need to be bothered about her. She addressed you as younger brother because to motivate you that you have to progress spiritually, and also to make you very clear that she is having a more peaceful, more delightful life in this world, in the human world also, and later in the divine world also. She is having a superior life, more blissful and happy life. That's what she intended to teach you. In that way, Buddha explains about the intentions, the behavior, the way of she was addressing to her father. After listening to this, Anathapindika became very happy and he became much more serious in his offering, in his services, in his generosity, in his devotion and faith, in right view, in these teachings, in these meditations, and he progressed in this path. So, what is the message here? What is the intention here? So, involving in these meritorious actions, it will give happiness here and now. One will die very peacefully, very blissfully and leave this world, and one will reach a very superior, blissful, divine realm, divine plane of existence where they enjoy much more happiness, much more delight, much more peace, much more bliss That is point number one. Point number two is like her sisters, when they are involved in this generosity, then they started getting the good worldly life. They could marry some good husbands, and they could lead very superior human life also, householder's life also. So that is the power of meritorious actions. For the householders, merits are the key for their happiness. Without merits, no happiness. So in that way, you have to understand this incident that happened during the time of Buddha. And Buddha says in this discourse, Ida nandati, Pecha nandati, Katapunya ubayatta nandati. So what does it mean? Ida nandati means like he will be happy, he will experience true happiness, he will be delighted, he will experience true bliss, he will be blissful, he will rejoice. Ida means here, that means in this life. Pecha means hereafter. Hereafter also, Pachanandati, hereafter also they will rejoice. They will be delightful. They will experience superior bliss. Who? Katapunya, one who does the merits, meritorious actions. Kata means one who has done. Punya means the right, good, meritorious actions. Katapunya ubayatta nandati. Ubayatta means in both the places. That means here in this world and hereafter, in the next life also. In both the places, they experience superior happiness, superior bliss. That is what is Katapunya Ubayatta Nandati. So, Sugati Gati, so they will achieve the Sugati, means like the divine life. They will achieve the divine life, divine world. After living this world, they will reach the divine stages like this Tusitaral. So that is the second point that Buddha is highlighting. Definitely you will be happy here, like in the case of the Sumana sisters. And because they have practicing, they have cultivated these meritorious actions. Right faith, right generosity, the right service mind, right respect, apachayana, respecting the respectables, the morality, they were practicing Panchashila. Once you achieve this Sotapanna, you can't break the 5 precepts. You can easily achieve the you can easily take care of the 5 precepts. So in that way, all these meritorious actions, they only are your savior, they only are your protection. So if you want to show reverence to someone, any departed person, if you are grateful to someone, you have to perform this Punyanamodana. Many people, they gave me some free suggestions. So better to make meritorious Punyanamodana in this name, that name. But it's all nonsense. If you want to show your reverence, your gratitude, you should perform this meritorious action. That is the best way to respect someone. That is the best way to show gratitude to someone, whoever it may be, whether it is a family member or friend or some leader or some inspiration for you, or if you want to some respectful person for you, you should perform the merits in his name and transfer the merits to him or her. That is the true way, that is the right way, proper way to respect someone, proper way to show your true gratitude, true concern, true respect to such person. So in that way, you should understand this Dhamma talk, understand this Gatha. Me punyam katanti nandati sugating gato biyo nandati. Exceedingly, biyo nandati means exceedingly they will be delightful, they will be blissful after living this body, after this life. They will reach sugati, superior realms, superior divine realms. So biyo sugating gati. So they will reach exceedingly superior and divine realms. There they will be more blissful, more happy. So that is what is the Buddha's assurance in merit making, in practicing meritorious actions. So that way, don't hesitate. Don't be too over smart, over intelligence in whether to do. I am a great meditator. Don't be arrogant also. I know all Dhamma, I know all meditation. So there is no need of meritorious action. You are the greatest fool. Merits, they will create the right platform even for meditation. So in that way, understand the importance of merit making, have right faith in the merit making, then they will become a great savior. And not only savior, it will give immense true happiness, true joy, that blissfulness here and now. That very bliss, actually the world is struggling for that happiness, doing all unnecessary, unwise things. But the true wise actions are the meritorious actions, which will give you happiness here and now, all the materialistic happiness also, and the spiritual happiness also, the inner joy also. Not only in this life, in the subsequent life also, you will take a superior rebirth, and there the true happiness is much more exceedingly, they will be present. Biyo means exceedingly you can experience that blissful state, blissful happiness, whether it is sense happiness, your power, position happiness, spiritual happiness, inner contentment happiness, all kinds of happiness is superior in this life and at the time of death also, peacefully, joyfully, without fear, complete confidence, one can give up this body, and in the next life also they will reach a superior realm, very blissful divine realm. So that is the message of this discourse of Buddha given to this Anatha Pindika, with reference to his daughter Sumana. Okay, so that is today's Dhamma talk. If you have some questions, you can ask, and then we will conclude.
Namaste, Guruji. I have a question on grief, Guruji. I wanted to ask, would Buddha, and other people mentioned in today's discourse, how do they deal with grief? Did Buddha grieve loss of Buddha's son? And when no grief, what is the understanding which leads to no grief, Guruji? And in lay people case, like me, what causes grief and how to come to the state of no grief, Guruji? Thank you, Guruji.
Good. So, if you see here in this discourse itself, we can understand. If somebody died and if they had led a peaceful life, a meritorious life, then absolutely one need not bother about their death. They had led a peaceful, meritorious life, doing lot of meritorious actions. They definitely they died peacefully, and after the death also they had reached a superior realm. That satisfaction, that contentment one should have, and completely one need not bother about the departed relatives. Point number one. Point number two, if they had not led a meritorious life in this life, they could not do any meritorious actions like these, respecting the respectables, practicing meditations, practicing right view, serving, service, generous nature, morality, all these things they have not performed. Then you are doing that. We are performing that. We are cultivating those merits. And we are sharing these merits with the departed relative through this punyanumodana, through this merit sharing. Pattidana and Pattanumodana. Both of them they are called punyanumodana, merit sharing. So I am practicing, I am cultivating all these meritorious actions, making of course myself happy and griefless, without grief, without sorrowless for me in my life, and thereby in the next life also I'll get a superior life. At the time of death also peacefully I can die. This understanding, and also I'm sharing this with my departed relative. So that is the best thing, best gift I am giving to them, so that they will also get these merits. They can't practice meritorious actions. They can't accrue directly the merits, but through me they are accruing the merits, and thereby they will also rejoice. They will also develop the blissful mind wherever they are, and from there, after that life, they will reach a superior life, superior divine realm, because of my shared merits with them, because of accepting my merits, their accrued merits, and that will make them happy, and after that life, they will get a superior life. If that understanding is there, then there is no question of grief at all. Grief means what? Could not do something. So thinking about that, we suffer. That is what is grief. Or of course, I have received so much from them, I could not return back whatever they have given to me. That kind of thoughts also will create a lot of grief. To fix all such kind of thoughts which lead to grief and sorrowfulness and suffering, this is the path. I should accrue these merits. I should share these merits with the departed relatives. That is the only way. That is the royal way. So if I am doing this, and where is the question of grief? Where is the question of developing any kind of sorrow? If that understanding is there, then all grief will go away. Of course, Buddha never bothered about the death of anyone for that matter. Not only when he was Buddha, even when he was Bodhisattva, even when he was a would-be Buddha, that means who is working for enlightenment, not knowing anything about the teachings of Buddha, though in those times also, Buddha was least bothered about the death, because he knew death is death, it is inevitable, as he is told to Anathapindika also. Yeah, being a Sotapanna, why should you grieve? Why should you have sorrow about your daughter? So, in that very question itself, one can understand the mindset, the mentality, the maturity of Buddha's mind, the understanding of Buddha towards the death. So, in that way, death is a very natural phenomenon. It is a temporary end to the temporary movement of one's mind in this existence. If anything that creates grief in me, it's because of not doing something. So that one has to fulfill it by doing something. What one has to do? By doing these meritorious actions, we can fulfill it, and then sharing the merits of these meritorious actions with them. Then that will be complete, because you are fulfilling that lacuna, that deficiency, that what you have not done, that you are fulfilling it. That's how the grief will go away. In his previous lives also, Buddha, when he lost his wife, so he sat next to that dead body, and he had to finish off his morning meal, and he just sat and he ate the meal, and then he did all the rites and rituals that are supposed to be done with that equanimity, with that understanding, with that wisdom that death is inevitable. He was very, very dearest wife to him. So, with the understanding, the grief, the worry, the suffering will automatically go away. Because what next I have to do, that was very clear in his mind. Let me cultivate more and more merits and share with my departed relatives. That is the only way I can do. That's what he did also. And there is one more Jataka story, that is previous life's story of Buddha. There he was called Rama Pandita. and he was in the forest, just like in the story of Ramayana. He and his brother and his sister also. And some news came to him that his father died, to this Rama Pandita. And everybody, they were weeping. So many people came to give this information, to this news to Rama. And everybody, they were weeping, crying, because he was such a good king, and because they loved him and his children also, like Rama. But Rama was very, very equanimous. So sitting very with equanimous, the absolute equanimity in the mind. And everybody, they asked, why you are so equanimous? You used to love your father so much. Why you are keeping so calm, so composed, so equanimous? Then Buddha gave a discourse on how to become equanimous at the death of the people. The importance of equanimity, he gave a discourse, something like this. No need to be worried about the death, no need to suffer about the death. Death is a natural phenomena. To show our concern, to show our gratitude, to show our respect, what I have to do, that I know very clearly. So if I want to show my concern to my departed father, I have to perform the meritorious actions, progress in these paramis, progress in this generosity, truthfulness, morality, service, everything. And of course, mainly cultivating this right view and this mind culture. So even as a layperson, even as a king, he knew the importance of all these meritorious actions. Because of that, I'm quite calm, quite peaceful, quite equanimous, even after listening to this news of my father's death. In that way, he gave one discourse. That is also a very famous discourse. His name Rama Pandita. Rama. That is about, people will quote that discourse whenever they want to explain this equanimity, the power of equanimity. Equanimity comes with lot of understanding. If you have understanding and wisdom, then only you can become equanimous. What is the wisdom? What is happened is happened. What next I have to do? So this is what I have to do. This is what I am going to do. If that clarity is there, that is what is wisdom. If that wisdom is there, then there is automatically there is equanimity in the mind. Then automatically the grief will not be there when that equanimity is there. So in that way, Buddha used to handle the death of near and dear ones, whoever it may be. So that is about the equanimity, the wisdom behind equanimity, to come out of grief, to come out of the grief that comes, that arises because of the death of near and dear ones. Today some people, they told me, they gave some free suggestion to conduct something. So they have to perform these meritorious actions. Then they show their respect to someone whom they really respect. That is a true way to respect, true way to show concern even to the departed person. If that clarity is there, there is no question of hypocrisy, there is no question of arrogance, there is no question of grief. So in your question you asked about grief. But some people, they show their respect and gratitude arrogantly. That will never help. Unwisely, arrogantly, that will not help the departed loved ones. You should perform the meritorious actions and share those merits with the departed loved ones. Then only it helps. It helps you and it helps the departed relatives. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
So now we will conclude small chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata. Sabba buddhanubhavena, sabba dhammanubhavena, sabba sanghanubhavena. Sada swati bhavantu te. Sukhi bhaveyan niddukho. Aham viccha aham viya idacha me sukhi hontu. Majjata chatavedino imami gammante dhamme. Satta hontu sukhi sada tato paranchara jesu. Chakkavale sujantano. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sukhi hontu, Mangalpo. May all of you be happy, healthy and peaceful. May all beings also be happy, healthy and peaceful. Sukhi hontu.